Good to go?
I think we're good.
We have to win.
Let's see here. Got the new look here, baby. What's going on, folks? My name is Trey Wynn. We are coming to you live from the Edney in Chattanooga. This is ChattTenn Sports, where we are talking all things Tennessee sports and everything in between. Got a couple new faces here. I've got Chase Green and Kurt McKibben here with us. Like I said, we're coming to you from the Edney in downtown Chattanooga, so we did want to mention them. Say thank you so much for having us here tonight. Guys, how we feeling?
Feeling good, baby. First show. We are broadcasting live here on Facebook, so be interactive, be fun. We want you guys comments, questions, whatever you got for us.
Be sure to follow us on social media pages. Give us a like, a follow, a share, whatever it may be. Get it out there for us, all right?
Just jump on here. Share with your friends. If everyone who is jumping in right now, go ahead and share the show for us. It's exciting to be here. We got one viewer on right now. As the show goes, we probably will have some more to have some more interaction. But what a crazy week in Tennessee sports. We had, I know for national news, one big story for this last weekend. Last Thursday it was, so we're a little bit distant from that now. The LA Rams are looking to be the owners of the NFC right now, which is exciting for them. They beat the Vikings, who preseason rankings, they were top 5, top 10.
New quarterback, fresh faces.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins got paid. I can't believe it, $84 million guaranteed. Outright.
Man. A lot of cash.
Back up the Brinks truck, if you will, folks. But it's something that last Thursday night, they were competitive in LA Stadium. Am I saying that? What's their stadium called? Not the Rose Bowl, but anyways, they're out there. It is something for them. I know there's been some similarities between them and the Titans. Obviously, Matt LaFleur, offensive coordinator, came from them. So you're seeing the guy, Jared Goff, get his rhythm going for them. But what do you guys think? I mean, who are some teams that you're noticing in the league that are starting to pull away a little bit and distance themselves from the rest of the pack?
Number one, playing tonight, the Chiefs. I mean, you look at Patrick Mahomes, the dude is dropping dimes on people. Weapons all over the place. We all know about Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill. I mean, you still got Rookie of the Year last year, Kareem Hunt.
Mm-hmm.
Running it.
Yeah, Travis Kelce, I know if it weren't for Jonathan Cyprien, for nothing malicious, nothing bad, but if he didn't knock out Travis Kelce last year for the Titans in the wild card, I don't know if we come away from that from that game with a win. So that's an interesting look. What do you think as far as NFL teams kind of pulling away here?
Well, I think I'd go the actually opposite direction. I think we saw this week what the Dolphins were made of. Everybody was kind of putting them up there. Kind of us, honestly, the Titans in the same group is a hot start, but maybe we don't know if they've got what it takes to sustain it. Obviously, we got the big brother, little brother thing with the Patriots. I feel like they just have their number, even though that's a team that struggled this year. I feel like they finally had a coming out party this week. You got Julian Edelman coming back next week. Tom Brady's buddy. Obviously, he's a familiar target there. So you got to look out for the Patriots as they're going to come back, I feel like, from a rough start.
Oh, yeah. And it's something, too, on the opposite end of the spectrum. I know the Steelers got the Le'Veon Bell saga. I expected it's the Patriots, it's the Steelers, and then there's a big gap between the rest of the AFC. We're week 4 now. The Titans are 3-1. I know the Chiefs are really becoming with Patrick Mahomes. No one could have bet that or expected that to be as significant as it has been for the AFC West. Chargers, I'm not really sure where they're at. I know they talked. There's a lot of talk about them for the Titans playing in London, but it's something too that as time goes on, we'll learn more and more about who these teams are, what they can bring to the table. But next topic here, FIFA 2019 came out. Raise your hand if you played some FIFA in your day. If you stay up some late nights with some pizza rolls with your roomies.
Oh, you have to. A lot of FIFA tournaments back then. A lot of FIFA tournaments.
Got heated.
That'll make or break some friendships for sure.
Lost a lot of controllers those days. One or two.
Oh, man. I actually played with my wife for a while, and she would get so mad because I would score a few goals, and we've had a couple in-house things too. So we actually had to put that game away and move on from that one. But if anyone has played FIFA for 19, I know I haven't quite played it yet, but it is something if you've enjoyed that. Chase, hit us with the CC Sabathia story. This is kind of an interesting one because there's a lot of money left on the table.
So last week, CC Sabathia had a chance for $500,000 extra in his bank account. All he had to do was get 2 extra innings. He needed 155 innings pitched this year, and his temper got in the way. There was a little exchange. One hit led to another after throwing a couple pitches at each other. And after the umps came in and decided, hey, enough's enough, and CC retaliated next inning. All he needed to do was make it through the 7th. He got to the 6th. He had a chance on Sunday to possibly play. There's even rumors about it. Hey, we'll play him a couple extra innings, get him his little extra.
So there's still a chance for him to.
There were, but then the Yanks decided they're not going to pay him. They didn't play him on Sunday.
Wow.
So, tough day.
I guess
it's disrespectful. I mean, for somebody that's putting so much in, that's put so much into that franchise and so much of his career, he's been really well. I mean, even this season, for somebody his age, he's been a good starter.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, a lot of years, man.
I find that disrespectful, but then again, I don't know what $500K is to somebody like CC Sabathia, so I don't know.
If I could even see $500K at any given time, just laid out on a table like this.
Nice. You put it back after I see it.
Yeah. I just want to see what it smells like for a second. But that is, I know, probably for him, and even we talked about Le'Veon Bell. There's a lot of money that he's losing each week that it goes by. I know he was offered the franchise tag. That's $14 million for the season, which I think it breaks down about $850,000 a week that he's just leaving out there. Not to roundabout back to the NFL, but the Steelers are shopping, Le'Veon Bell to see if there's any bites for him. But that's something too that over time we'll see what happens there. Jumping into the next thing, Kurt, I'm gonna let you get this one, brother. Giancarlo.
All right, man.
It's a homer, baby.
Big Giancarlo. A lot of strikeouts this year. Had a rough start. It's kind of caught his stride along with the rest of the Yankees. Takes one there in Fenway. Takes one over the monster. A guy that later we find out is actually Atlanta native and a Braves fan. Throws it from the Green Monster. One hop hits Stanton as he's rounding second, going to third.
It's an impressive.
Give the kid a jersey. That's all I'm saying, man.
Best throw we've seen since the movie The Rookie.
Probably the same spot, Tim, not the Green Monster, but from right in center field.
Daggum impressive.
I know we saw a post on ESPN that he was interviewed, and he said, you'll probably have to quote me here. I actually might have pulled it pulled up, but he said, when the ball hit him, I was just like, "Oh, that might be a big deal." So I don't know if security approached him, but yeah, I know that's a pretty interesting story for a fan perspective. Not even a Red Sox fan.
No,
I guess he wants to fit in. Maybe he had a couple drinks and he said, "Hey, I've made some new friends up here in the Green Monster."
Well, he said even before that happened, he and his buddy were discussing like, well, if one comes this way and it's the Yankees, we've got to throw it back.
Right.
So he had it in his mind that he was going to throw it back. I don't think even he knew he could get it that far, much less I don't think he was really aiming for Giancarlo, but it hit him. I think they got a kick out of it. I saw a little shot in the Yankees dugout, and they were pointing up there, and they were all kind of laughing about it. I mean, I know maybe the higher-ups were not laughing at someone throwing a ball at someone they just spent that much money on, but at the end of the day, everybody got a good laugh. And
could you imagine, though, had he, had that ball rolled at his feet and he slipped on
there and twisted his ankle, I mean, anything.
Blows out his knee, I mean, there's no telling what could have happened.
Could have been bad, but it wasn't.
I wonder what anything legal, if they were to sue the guy or...
I don't know, man, these days.
Yeah, that's true. That's kind of interesting. Hey, some news that Chase got in here for us. The Brewers clinched the Central for the first time in what? It's been a while, 7 years, maybe more than that. But yeah, baseball season is wrapping up, which we'll jump into the Braves here. They've clinched the NL East as of a week ago.
Last Sunday.
Yeah, last weekend. But it is something as the games go on, and I'll let you guys probably talk about this a little bit more here. One note we did have, Ronald Acuna has continued his rookie year. His resume for Rookie of the Year. It's something that I know he has probably a couple competitors out there that they're looking to compete and also have that same title. But what does the guy have to do? I mean, I know y'all are probably a little bit more well versed with the baseball world, but what do you think he has to do to really get his foot in that door and lock it down to become Rookie of the Year?
I think he's the front runner personally. I mean, he's put stats to match anyone in the league, and he missed a good chunk of the season right before the All-Star break with a small injury, but just what he's done. He leads the Braves, at least last week. I know he was leading the Braves in homers. He has a solid amount less at bats than the rest of the team. That in and of itself, I mean, you always hear, and I heard the buzz about him coming into the season, but it's pretty easy to dismiss that. I don't know if it's self-preservation where you're like, I don't want to get my hopes up.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I drafted this guy in my fantasy baseball league this year. At the beginning of the season, he didn't really look like he was going to reach that level this year. I knew he had it, but I mean, just came out after the All-Star breaks and just cleaning up.
Yeah, and you got to wonder, too. I mean, I know he blew his knee out for a bit and had the hyperextension. He was out for, I don't know how many games.
Like a month, maybe.
Yeah, it was a good while, but what could he have done had these other guys who he might be running against to really distance himself even more? What do you think, Chase?
Well, honestly, for him, it's just staying exactly where he's at because I think it's a clear front runner. He's tied for NL and homers since the All-Star break, batting over 330. Guy's a monster. So if he just stays consistent, and maybe that break was exactly what he needed. Look what happened to him.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just think he has to stay
consistent. Did you guys see him hit the wall? I don't know. There's a little clip that came out. He made a pretty nice catch a few days ago.
Yeah.
Came up from the wall and blew a bubble, and they're just like, is this guy phased by anything?
Yeah.
He just doesn't seem to be. I mean, it doesn't look like he's out of place. You would think he was a vet, man, just the way he behaves himself on the field. I mean, obviously we got next year to worry about with the sophomore slump. A lot of times pitchers figure out rookie batters that are hot.
Right.
And so that'll be something to watch next year, but I think he's got it all.
Yeah,
I mean, I really do. Him and Albies. Camargo surprised some folks this year. We thought we were going to have to call up Austin Riley, but we didn't because Camargo's been everything we needed for him to be.
At the right time.
You got your Freddie and Markakis, veteran presences in the locker room that's been kind of – I feel like that was really – us getting Nick Markakis a few years ago and Freddie deciding to stay is what really kept that ship.
Right.
Gave us the number one farm system. We sold everything but them just about. And everybody, people at home were like, oh, what is going on? But it seems to be panning out and everything that we'd hoped and way more, honestly, than the beginning of the season. For sure.
Well, we do want to say hello to some people who have rolled in here. I got Robbie Sizemore, who we know he's a big Titans fan, Chris Widener as well, but he did comment saying people don't want to give players on the Braves or the Titans any credit, which I know for a Titans fan and even a Braves fan, you got to get used to it, but hopefully, I don't know what you're thinking for the playoffs. I know, again, you guys are probably a little bit more well-versed as far as what we're looking like going into the offseason or the postseason, but it is something, I know as of a couple hours ago, we're playing the Dodgers, correct?
Yeah, this game's still going. I'll get a score real quick.
It was 5-0 last time we saw it, the 6th.
Yeah. So it's pretty much almost all but done, but it is something that I don't know how it looks for them. I know Matt Kemp's back out there, which what could have been had he stayed on this roster for the Braves. Yeah. I'm thinking of Yasiel Puig as well. And of course, their pitching is pretty top tier.
Yeah, and that's a good young team as well. Something like the Astros, the Cubs, us now. Which is crazy just to even put us in that ballpark. All puns intended. But it's 5-0, 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th. Still Dodgers. So it's looking like we'll be going out to Cali a little bit.
And I know we talked about it off camera before the show. I know the Braves usually don't travel well, but it is something. I guess we'll see. But stay tuned. Any Braves fans that hear this now or maybe watch this later, feel free to message us as we get closer to the postseason. Shoot us a comment. Shoot us hey, this topic, or what do you think about this aspect of the Braves roster right now, this weakness or this strength? But yeah, we'd love to have your interaction and talk with you guys a little bit more there. But here now we're going to move to the Nashville Predators, which they're actually, this will be a kind of short and sweet here. They're closing out their preseason. We're 3 days away. I know a lot of Predators players have jumped on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and said, finally, we're getting to the beginning of the year. It's exciting. They've actually just closed out with a win. I know Ryan Johansson actually scored kind of a walk-off goal. He literally took off towards the gate and just walked out. Scored that. Actually, some news. I know there's a couple over the last year. I know Mike Fisher has retired, and officially today, Scott Hartnell has retired, who's been, fantastic leadership for the team, but also he's been productive defensively. I know a couple of the playoff series that we had last year, he was a big part of carrying us through some of those. One story I did see this last week was Eli Tolvanen, the rookie draft pick, I believe, from last year, was actually moved down to the AHL, which is basically NHL minor league for everybody. There is concern, which that's a usual, it's kind of a typical move for a hockey team to have them, just like probably in baseball, get them in the farm system, get them accustomed to the American Hockey League system since there are so many international players. But it is something. There was a concern that he may consider going back to the Russian league, the Russian Hockey League, the KHL. To me, I don't know if this is more of a reach or an actual story. What are you guys thinking?
Maybe a slight reach. It's just a lot of hearsay, and it's one of those, especially as high touted as he is. Why would you want to go back to Russia? I mean, I understand it's a very great league.
It's a lot of money. I mean, there's
a lot of money.
The money and the fame, and I mean, ask Philip Forsberg what it's been like for him after a couple of the goals that he scored over the last 2 years in the playoffs. But that's just one minor thing. I know again a lot to be done for the Predators going into this upcoming season. Excuse me, but it is something we'll see what happens with him. But moving on to the two big juggernaut topics we're here for. Got some Vols, got some Titans. Obviously, we're here to talk some Tennessee football. It's the fall, baby. It's getting cool out. The rain systems are finally going through. We've got about mid-80s for highs, so I'm happy.
Feels like fall.
My wife made some pumpkin spice bread on Sunday.
You're so basic.
Yeah. Hashtag so basic. But yeah, it's officially fall. It's an exciting time. By the way, for everybody, Titans fans, Vols fans, we're probably going to go Vols first. Do us a favor and share the post with your friends. Have them get in here with us and have some interactions as well. But guys, Tennessee Volunteers get blown out by the Florida Gators at home. Rough game. Probably one of the hardest games I've seen as a Tennessee fan, as a Vols fan in general, and maybe in history. But the Vols traveled down. And by the way, I did want to give a quick plug. Our website, ChattTenn Sports, is officially live. We're in the process of all contributing posts to that. Chase had one today of his initial emotional reaction, which is actually getting a lot of hits. It is something that it's quite hilarious, but it's very much accurate as far as a lot of Tennessee fans. Any sales pitch on that one you want to?
It's one of those. I have the prototypical Vols family. We give all the same reactions. We speak in a different language as we're watching every game, and it's just one of those. We enjoy our time, but it's one of those that it's always fun to kind of top it out. It was fun just to make that today because I was like, all right. You know what? This is pretty accurate for most people because everybody that gave me feedback was like, "Wow, I was either there or that exact same thing happened for us."
Yeah,
so,
Right.
I feel like we're a fan base. Obviously, with the coaching debacle, that will be a 30 for 30 soon.
Yes.
Yeah.
But also, we're a fan base that went 0-8 in the SEC last year, but you still had people expecting us to fight for the East this year, and that's just like, I feel like the Vols are a special place. We
we're
may
all
be the
going
only
through this
ones.
pain together.
Yeah,
I mean,
we're all in it together. I can make fun of us, but I mean, amen. If you're just right there with them on the unrealisticness sometimes.
Yeah, you have to be sometimes. It just makes it more fun.
Yeah, and it's something I know Chase will be doing that probably every week since it's had such a positive, kind of reaction this week. So keep a lookout for that. But yeah, check us out. There is actually a section on there that takes you to all of our social media pages, as well as a contact page, so you can email us and write us in a question, comment, concern that you might have, or any feedback. If my hair's not completely right, just let me know in the contact section there. But guys, went to Athens. The Vols did, excuse me. Coming out of the Florida game, it was something that you expect the worst, you hope for the best. And I actually wrote an article for our site prior to that game. A couple things I did document, and that was just saying I want to see a team for the Vols to go out against the juggernaut, take a punch, wipe their lip, and keep coming. And for me, I walked away very happy with the game. It was a loss. Obviously, there's no happiness in losing, but there's happiness in the little victories that you walk away with, thinking, for a guy like Darrell Taylor to get his confidence and kind of get his legs underneath him against the number 2 team in the country.
Yep.
Jarrett Garantano continues to build on what he's got going. But what are your overall, kind of quick recaps of the game? I know it was a little bit up and down, but it's something too. I mean, what were your in and out thoughts for the game?
Well, especially after Florida, when we made Felipe Franks look like a Heisman frontrunner. we tend to do that with big-time quarterbacks. And
just a couple times.
Yeah.
That's what
you look around every week and you see Felipe, and he's got some talent. He's an absolute freakazoid athlete. But it's one of those that I did not have any confidence coming to this game. Early on in the week, you couldn't have sold me any amount of money to pay for any of these wins, any chance of, even competing. I didn't think we had a chance to beat the spread, which came out at like 32.5 initially.
Mm-hmm.
So I just had very little faith. But as the game went on, it was one of those that, like you said, we took some shots.
Mm-hmm.
They missed some opportunities, and we sure did too. Taylor coming off the edge and was literally a bounce pass over to Nada for a touchdown. Who knows if we land on that ball, or heck, even if they just recover it, it's 4th and 11 at that point.
Right.
So we missed some opportunities. I know they did too, as Kurt was talking about earlier. Some drop passes from Georgia, but I was very proud of our team. I thought it's one of those. I know it's lame and prototypical, but we did have the heart aspect of it.
Yeah.
We took some shots and came back, and our defense looked fantastic. Did get a little worn out, but I was pleased with it overall.
Yeah, I think that last year the Georgia game was such a large turning point for me mentally because I saw our team roll over and I saw them just quit. Quit, whether it be on Butch or each other, whatever it may be. I saw a lot of talent just laid down, and that to me.
In the Florida game?
No, the Georgia game last year.
Oh, gotcha.
I just felt like that was the turning point for our season that led to the 0-8 finish, and to see a team that maybe even less talented than last year, we don't know. Fight and hang in there. I mean, well into the fourth quarter, it was still a game with Georgia.
Yeah.
It was, in my opinion, Alabama and Georgia seem to be on that course for the same outcome as last year. I mean,
the race to the finish.
So I was proud just to see us not give up. Like you said, take some on the chin and just keep fighting. I mean, that's all that we can ask for, I feel like, this year.
And I know for Pruitt, and even his post-game and his response to that was very encouraging. I know a lot of fans have said, hey, I'm sick of hearing Butch and the sales pitches and the little, kind of one-liners, and it's all cute and fluffy, but it just doesn't pan out. And for Pruitt, for a guy, I know he's probably feeling the heat of being an SEC coach. Obviously, you're being baptized by fire with the gauntlet here.
Yep.
One thing that Robbie Sizemore did jump in saying, since Kurt's wearing the Vols shirt, what do you guys think is a key for the offense coming together so that they can play strong against the Auburn next week? The offensive line obviously is the issue, but JG is on the right to lead us. And why can't any of our receivers catch the ball? That's we are going to get to some good, bad, and ugly here, but let's take that question here and kind of run with that. What are some things that you guys want to see that you have seen flashes of, or you're not seeing enough of that you want the Vols? And believe me, I've got Tyson Helton's number, and I've got a couple things, a couple bones to pick with him. But what are some things that y'all want to see going into Auburn? I know we're off this week, but we got Auburn coming up after that. So give me some little nuggets here.
I think I wrote down a "Don't go chasing waterfalls" reference, if you will. I feel like we are limited this year. I feel like we've called on Garantano too much at this point, and he's, I think, done pretty well. A lot better than I expected, seeing what he did last year.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
But we haven't established the run in any form or fashion. I feel like that's something that we have to do to win the games in the SEC, is to hand the ball off, to chew up the clock. Our defense proved itself this week for the first time. I feel like they looked like those 4 or 5 star guys that we recruited them as.
Yeah.
That last year were just disappearing. This year it actually looked like the guys that we recruited them to be, and I think that a lot of that is a mentality that Pruitt has established, a toughness, if you will, that wasn't there last year. But I think we have to get the run game going if we want to get some wins in the SEC this year. It's just going to have to happen.
What I saw a lot from Chandler whenever we got him out on the little swing pass for his touchdown, I think it's one of those we don't have the line to give a lot of time. And if we do pound the rock, we've done all right. But getting our guys out in space, people like Chandler, it's that quick swing pass. Get him out there. We have some very good receivers that can block.
Yeah.
Especially when we have Jennings and Callaway both. Depending on Callaway if he plays. Pretty sure he's in concussion protocol right now. So
he did get dinged.
Yeah.
Get him a dinger.
Put him in a tough spot right there in the middle, crossing route.
Oh,
but, it's one of those, get our guys in space. We've got to be quick. We don't have the line that's going to hold us very long. So
yeah, we have to get the receivers involved especially those two.
Yeah.
If we, want to move the ball.
Yeah, and it was something for me. I know for Florida, 32 times on offense they lined up, and they ran 27 times on first down. With the offensive line that we've got, you can't do it. I honestly think Tyson Helton went in and read his Twitter mentions after that game, because I was actually going back with Gerald Riggs, who was on with Trey Wallace up in Knoxville on a radio station up there, but just kind of going back and forth saying, what can you do with an offensive line that bad? And I'm thinking, look at the Titans against the Texans.
Yep.
Yeah, the offensive line. I mean, you got a practice squad player coming up, a second string guy on the left hand side. They held their own, but they ran the wildcat, they ran the jet sweep, and they kept the guys on their toes by running some play action passes, by running the screen plays, and it's something that we saw that it was kind of a big shock, but some of the long passes that they actually went with, it was very surprising to see. But it wasn't perfect, but it was a big step in the right direction for me. I still want to see Jawan Jennings more.
Yeah.
I want to see Dominic Wood-Anderson more, and it's something these guys, especially for Dominic Wood-Anderson, everyone's been talking about. This guy's a beast. He's huge. He's going to be super productive as far as his ability to catch the ball. Frankly, he caught one touchdown against West Virginia, and he's basically been quiet ever since.
Yeah.
And
even Saturday, but
the running game you mentioned, I know we've had some success, with Tim Jordan. Ty Chandler, had a good catch out of the backfield, but and I don't know what we can do with an offensive line as weak as we have to really get, and the same thing for the Titans right now. It's like where's the running game? Well, we'll get to that in a second. But moving on, let's kind of talk about what are some good things that you saw from the game. What are let's detail those, and then we'll move to the bad and the ugly there. But Chase, what were some of your good things that you took away from the game?
Number one, Darrell Taylor. I mean, guy played an awesome game. Came off the edge, took advantage of mismatches. He did beat Nada for his touchdown that he had on the fumble recovery.
Yeah.
Absolutely just
beat the guy strip sack and he picks it up.
Yeah, it's just one of those fluke situations, such a Vol thing to happen. History sacks the most since Derek Barnett in 2016. So it's always nice to see things like that, man. You got some athletes, sparingly, but we have some athletes.
Right. What do you think, Kurt?
I think
some positives.
Positives. I mean, defense in general, but especially our linebacking core. Flying our defensive line, coming off the ball, it seemed like for the first time all year they were challenging an offensive line. I know it seems pessimistic to word it that way, but at the end of the day, I have not seen them come off the ball like that this year. I don't know if it was an attitude thing or a coaching thing, if that's something they practiced, but it helped a lot. I mean, our secondary is decent, but it's not going to be any good if we don't get some kind of a pressure on the quarterback. They're just going to be able to sit back and pick us apart.
Yeah,
I think Nigel Warrior played great. Saw him deliver some hits.
I don't know, man. There were some plays I feel, a couple guys on Twitter made this kind of a point, but I thought there were some plays that he was going as hard as he could, and then some plays he's just kind of jogging and taking his time, which I don't know if he's kind of that, kind of 50-50 guy where he'll take some plays off. But my question is, defensively, have we given up on Jonathan Kongbo?
It's just tough out there because he made the switch to more of an outside linebacker role. I know he dropped some weight in the offseason, but his lateral quickness is just not there for what we're trying to do right now. And, he looks like a specimen, and that's one of those things that he came out, he was our big-time recruit. I mean, they sold out an auditorium for him to get him there. But it's one of those that, his production just hasn't been there and not even close to the hype.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, best JUCO defensive end in the country.
Number one, I think, recruit in general out of JUCO that year.
Yeah.
For us, the landing was huge, and then, like you said, dropped weight. I don't think his feet are anywhere near what they need to be for him to be a linebacker. I mean, he's still, I think, an effective edge rusher.
Yeah.
But when it comes to, dropping back and pass or maybe that sideline to sideline speed, I don't think he has it. Kirkland, on the other hand, looked good.
Oh, yeah.
He was flying.
He's moving, and he's one of those guys, I don't know, I forget what year he is off the top of my head, but I'm hoping that he's a guy that Pruitt can really utilize now, and then even if he's back next year, continue to see his production 'Cause I don't think he's the biggest guy on the field, but man, he knows how to fly, and it's an encouraging thing. One thing that like we've said, the defense has been great. Darrell Taylor, we talked about Ty Chandler. He's been a good pass catcher. Do you believe the hype with Jeremy Banks? I know he's kind of, again, a lot of social media is talking him up, and more people are saying give him the ball, and he's the guy. But towards the end of that game, and especially the time where you think a team's going to quit, he's up. He's kind of rallying the troops and saying, "Let's go." We're not here to bend over and fold. But it's just something that. Do you think the hype is real?
I do. I think that he's just a young kid. He's got to get his emotions in check. For him, that's where he was creating a target on his back, got up every play. Some people love that. I mean, I respect it in a lot of ways, but whenever we're down 20 at this point and, we're just get up, get your troops rallied up, and then don't have to talk trash to the opposing defensive line that's just stopped you for a 1 yard loss. So It's just one of those that he's got fumble troubles. And if he can hold on to the football and just kind of rein his emotions in check, I think he's an awesome back.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard a couple guys on Twitter say that if he just stopped trying to run over everybody, there was a couple times he's had just make a turn right and turn left. You got 40 yards both ways, make a play.
He's got to learn to be a one-cut back like Jamal Lewis if he wants to be that bruiser. He's not necessarily
the comparison.
I'm not even going to go there. Not yet. But
how dare you, Kurt?
Running towards contact, not water bugging, not running out of bounds. Laying the hit, but at the same time, take that cut when you have it. There's no need for all that unnecessary contact if you could get more yards by juking someone. I don't think we need him personally. The emergence of Jordan, obviously Ty Chandler is a really, really good back. We knew that coming into this year.
Mm-hmm.
It never hurts to have some. I mean, everybody runs a stable of running backs these days. You saw Swift Holyfield and what's the other guy's name for Georgia?
Yeah.
I mean, it never hurts to have the running backs there if you need them, but
I
do think he's the third best running back that we have right now.
Well, like Clemson saw, Kelly Bryant leaves and Trevor Lawrence goes out and gets absolutely, I don't know how that wasn't a targeting, even if it was the shoulder that hit his helmet.
Crown was down.
That's a pretty blatant hit, but it's one of those things. Does Kelly Bryant come back now? But yeah, like you said, the depth's there. I wish we had a little bit more depth in other areas as well. But you got to work with
starters on the line would be best.
Yeah, for sure. Let's get to some of the bad things, and I'll start here because again, I've had Tyson Helton's number for the last few weeks. I'm impressed. I think the guy, from even the past, it's been something that the guys had productive offenses. He's got a little bit of a bad hand to work with the offensive line. But like you mentioned, you've utilized Jarrett Garantano really to the brink of his kind of maxing him out a bit. But the thing is, it's still the obvious play. Like we've all probably played Madden or NCAA before, and it's like you know how to run against a certain type of offense. And if you want to try and, especially with a good defense that Georgia has, why not run this? They ran some screens, but give me some more slants. Give me some more sweeps, Don't run the guys inside, but it's something I know, again, he impressed me enough this last week to say, okay, well, this is a step in the right direction, but I still want to see it where it's not so blatantly predictable. And again, maybe Kirby knows, and maybe, as great as he is as a defensive coach and a defensive mind, maybe it's just scheming, maybe it's obviously their talent is better than ours right now, but maybe just the coaching got the better of us too.
And that's two coaches that aren't strangers either.
Sure.
You're not really gonna. Unless he's come up with something recently, I don't think you're gonna surprise them with anything. As I said, don't go chasing waterfalls. We really do have to stick to what got us there. Our bread and butter, short passes for Garantano. But I think the establishing of the run will open up that long shot. That we saw when we had it a few times. Got to capitalize though.
Mm-hmm. What do you think, brother?
To reiterate off the play calling, we had our first 3 drives. We had a 3rd and 1 and didn't convert any of them. 0 for 3. One of them I didn't understand. I guess my most questionable one was we had the short side of the field. We ran a rollout with Garantano to the short side of the field, and we have one option basically. He did have a man wide open in the middle, but it's when you're on the run to the right and you've got about 7 yards and you got 3 defenders coming at you and you throw a rocket to your tight end right at the sideline. It's just not much you can do, and you just get a lot of options on 3rd and 1.
Mm-hmm.
Got to figure some stuff out. Give your guys some more routes, some different options to have.
So
we're just not doing that.
We're just terrible on both sides of the ball. I feel like on 3rd down,
yeah.
Obviously that's a cliche, but
right.
You get the 3rd downs, you win the game. I mean, you saw the transverse of that with the Titans on 4th down even.
Yeah.
You know, we had to get a lot of those late,
sure.
but like it as cliche as it may be, it's there for a reason, man.
Yeah.
If we don't draw up the right things for our talent or lack thereof on the line even, you know, we may see a lot of failure on 3rd down this year.
Yeah. And it's something, speaking of things that it sounds like things that we should be getting correct and obvious plays, but nothing more obvious or embarrassing than a punt formation.
5 in the back.
That you get 5 guys in the backfield, you get blown up 3 times in a row. That's on the coach.
False starts.
Yeah.
You know, Pruitt, I'm not, you know, obviously you probably had your chops busted about it, but it's one of those things, you know, now we know it, yeah, but it's great, but it's still one of those things like the strip sack for a touchdown, you know. It's like, let's just get this thing going. But there was a bit, you know, for me, I kind of watched the game expecting the worst, hoping for the best, but I feel like there was a bit of a shift, you know, for the Vols in mindset that I don't know if Georgia's at the point now, even last week against Missouri, they didn't play clean ball. They played sloppy. This week they didn't play great. Justin Fields, I know he probably will get some more reps as time goes on because Fromm didn't seem to struggle. It just wasn't clicking.
No.
You know, it wasn't.
Yeah.
I think when they brought Fields in at the end, it was something that they saw in our defense that they wanted to exploit with his legs. I mean, you saw him take off a few times. The kid's got wheels.
Yeah.
I mean, that's scary, you know, to think about that going forward. I do think Fromm is the real deal. I do think we'll see him on Sundays real soon.
Is he a sophomore?
He's a sophomore. But he seems to do all the right things, make the right reads. Back to the Vols, though, is, you know, they kept saying the Vols can't beat the Vols. The announcer kept saying it. It sounded like nails on a chalkboard to me, man. Because I was just like, you're right, but like,
I hate this.
Yeah.
You're so right, because they gave us the opportunity.
Yeah.
Like I said, with the drop passes, a couple of drop passes, that one swing pass, I think it was a screen pass to Swift.
Yeah.
That if he caught it, it was
30
just
yards.
green grass.
30
I
yards
mean, maybe even a
anybody had a
touchdown.
chance.
Yeah. And so, you know, you hate to see, you know, as much as there was a lot to come away with that's positive, you hate to see them give us a chance and us not take it too.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, obviously the Vols are off this week. It'll be a bye week for them to kind of hopefully work some kinks out. Then we've got Auburn at Auburn. So the gauntlet does continue. It'll be an interesting thing, but it is something to kind of preview that game. I haven't seen much of Auburn's games this year, but it's something that I don't want to say that they're going to lose, because you never know what's going to happen when they line up, but what are some things that you have to see continued on from a positive outing, or as good as it could be of an outing against Georgia? What are some things that you guys want to see just against their offense and their scheme and their defense?
We've got to keep the defensive intensity up. That's one of our things is we don't have the overall talent to just dominate you off the line. If we can come out there and just rip and roar and have some fun with it, I think that's one of those things we can keep ourselves in games.
For sure.
Yeah, and then just figure out ways to get our playmakers. We've got a few playmakers on the offensive
We
side.
do.
Just figure it out, get our guys involved, and I know it's cliche to say, but we have to figure out ways to get our guys in space.
Right.
I think we got to put, obviously, pressure on Stidham. Can't let him sit back there and pick us apart, because he will. I know that Auburn is a team that maybe struggled out of the gate. A lot of people saw them as dark horse West candidates. You know, obviously you still got Bama.
Yeah.
But you just never know. I mean,
You don't.
That last game of the year.
You really don't. I mean, you got LSU out there surprising folks. Coach O. But, you know, I think we keep taking care of the football. We didn't have a turnover until the fourth quarter. We had that fumble first down. The announcer was like, "Oh, I even had my notes. Like, they haven't gave the ball up." And I think that's a big improvement that I've seen in JG this year, is that he's not making the decisions to put the ball in jeopardy. He's making the smart play.
Yeah.
That may be just another year of experience. Maybe it's a coordinator. Maybe who knows what to attribute it to, but I love seeing it.
For sure, absolutely. I know for Pruitt, I think over time, I think these guys are starting to buy in more and more.
Yeah.
Which obviously the culture has, it's been beyond overhauled. This is a whole different university almost, it feels like.
Yeah.
Beth Davenport's gone. John Curry's gone. It's a very much of a different administration, and with Phil Fulmer back.
Big Phil.
Yeah, it's something everybody's granddad. It feels like he's just, we all grew up with the same guy.
Yeah.
But looking for the Auburn game. That's something that we'll keep an eye on for sure. Probably put a couple articles out kind of getting close to that, so keep an eye on ChattTennSports.com. But, folks, it's time for us to move to the old two-tone blue. So, folks, if you are watching, there's a few more people that have rolled in here. Share the show for us here. If you've got your Titans fans, text them, say, hey, hop on. Which we did want to start this show an hour before Monday Night Football. So I think in a few weeks the Titans might be lining up, and we'll have to move a couple things, or maybe we'll just do it and go watch it somewhere else. Yeah. Maybe go half time, but that's something that we look forward to. But I know everyone's kind of summarized the Philly Eagles game, and guys, if you're watching, please give me your synopsis. Give me your sentence synopsis for the Titans-Eagles game from yesterday. It's really exciting because I know there has been, for Titans fans, there's been the desire to buy in and believe in it. But I think this week was a week that's something that something shifted for fans. What's going on?
Mr. Sizemore with the glue on Callaway's hands. I like it.
I
like where your head's at.
But something, guys, what'd you think about the Phillies game? Obviously, it was a roller coaster. What was your immediate takeaway from that game?
Pure excitement and joy and happiness. Just couldn't have had a better Sunday. Man, heart was racing. Fourth quarter and overtime. Coming to the game, it's one of those, how healthy is Mariota? Can we even play with these guys? Mm-hmm. Is this a bunch of, big brother stuff in the AFC South? Texans aren't playing great. Maybe it was just kind of a fluky stuff. We'll figure it out. And then, defensive hangs with them. And you're like, okay, we had missed some chances early on in offense, but defense held their own. And then Jordan Matthews beats on a wide open touchdown.
Right.
Mr. Butler couldn't keep up. And then you're like, okay. And then all of a sudden, man, we start rolling back. And it just brings you so much happiness to see Marcus and Corey finally connect. And you've had some highlights here and there. He's had a couple 4 or 5 catch games, but yesterday,
it was awesome, man.
You felt it, man. You really did. You could feel it all the way in Chattanooga from Nashville. I feel like the whole town was behind them. I feel like we finally saw the Mariota that we wanted to see. Been banged up, had a lot of different offensive coordinators this far in his career. Mm-hmm. Nothing but positivity in my mind from Sunday's win. Gosh, what an exciting time for Tennessee.
To me, and this is something I wrote about on our site, there is something happening with the Titans, and obviously John Robinson's come in. Yeah. We talked about, and this is something that everybody knows this, but it's one of those things for him to be able to wheel and deal in the off seasons, get the talent here. Finally, and I don't know if he and Malarkey saw eye to eye with everything. Obviously not, because Malarkey's not here anymore. But I feel like finally he has a guy who they've got an aligned vision. But there's just something that Vrabel brings to this team. Even the whole For the Boys thing and seeing the post game speech. These guys believe in him, and even Robinson said in his presser, "I wanted a leader of men."
Yeah,
you got it, John Robinson. It's something too. I know, and Robbie Sizemore came back in here saying Marcus Mariota is the future of this team. All the haters can kiss my two-tone blankety blank. And then Corey Davis finally gave us a showing of what he can do. It's something that
way overdue.
There were so many things that happened in that game. You saw why Deion Lewis was brought in.
Yeah.
The quick bubble out, the kind of quick passes that Mariota has as a check down guy.
Yep.
But he had 2 or 3 plays where he just took over and utilized his size to get beyond guys. But it's something that, even like we talked about as well for the defense, it's something that a guy like Will Compton that was brought in from the Redskins.
Almost a pick.
Yeah, it was nearly a pick that could have sealed that game. And well, I don't know if it was sealed it at that point. That was probably early on in overtime. But a lot of stuff happened in that game. But yeah, for me, I think this is what I wrote about. the real change happening with this team is that Vrabel's bringing in, and Fisher had this for a while, the guys buying into it, but even the city of Nashville, they've been so hard in love with the Predators because they've had the success that they've had.
Yep.
I think that the Titans are now beyond the point of just winning the AFC South. It's like, where could we really go? And especially like we talked about opening up, the Chiefs are out there. Yep. They're now the big bad team in the AFC since, Mahomes has thrown 8 to 10 touchdowns in 2-3 weeks.
On Peyton pace.
Yeah, it's unreal. But let's just jump in here as far as other good things that we've mentioned. Vrabel had 3 different 4th down tries, and my favorite part of the whole game, Ryan Suckup goes out to try and tie in overtime, and all of a sudden, and even the shot of Fox and how they broadcasted it was Vrabel, and you can see him put up his headset, and Lawan comes over and says, "We're gonna go for it."
Yeah.
I'm like, I couldn't read it at the time, but obviously they tried it back out there. They knew the play that they wanted, but it's his confidence, and this is something too that we're going to have some interaction from viewers. But what's Vrabel's confidence and success with the gutsy calls doing for this team? What do you guys think about that?
I mean, I think we're going to have to, especially in the first year with everything that's new to us. Mm-hmm. We're going to have to get gutsy. We're going to have to do some things that are
roll the dice.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I think we haven't established the run similar to the Vols. Derrick Henry, I expected a huge year out of him this year. He's been relatively quiet. I don't know whether to attribute that. I think we have one of the best offensive lines in the league. So
been banged up.
Yeah. So I don't understand what to attribute that to, if it's more just a scheme thing that they're kind of shying away from at the beginning of the year. Maybe later in the year we'll put it back in the running back's hands. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Deion Lewis is a great third down back and a great safety blanket for Mariota with Delonte Walker, out for Delaney Walker out for the year. So he's going to need that check down. I think he's had it his whole career.
Yeah.
And so I think Deion Lewis is going to provide that moving forward.
For sure.
Yeah, I think it kind of creates the stick for the Titans that they like. Kind of that underdog, ballsy team. I think they want that to go to Lawan.
Yep.
You even saw a little dog out of Mariota.
Yeah.
It was that 3rd and 1. He comes up, connects the line, gets the first down off, I guess it was just a read handoff. He goes up, he stands up, and he starts talking trash. This is the most gentle creature in the NFL.
Yeah, like Cowherd said, the guy's too quiet to be an NFL quarterback, and I disagree.
I just disagree. Cause
I don't need a guy to shout all the time, but yeah, those little flashes
and
get the heart going.
You just see how much these guys love Marcus.
Mm-hmm.
You see he talks about how much he loves his guys, and they're just having fun now.
For sure.
So it's pretty awesome to see.
And Robbie Sizemore again comes in. I was on the fence about signing a receiver, but after the game, I think we need to rally around the guys that we have.
Yes.
And we'll be perfectly fine. I think Robbie makes a fantastic point because, Richard, for anyone who may have missed it, and anyone living under a rock, Rashard Matthews was released this last week, and the talk was, does Des Bryant come in? I know we mentioned a guy like Jeremy Maclin, potentially coming in, but between Tajay Sharp, Taywan Taylor, and 9 catches for 160 yards and his first official touchdown for the Titans, Corey Davis. Gosh. And here's the thing, post week 1, where the Dolphins game, as weird as that was, a lot of people talking a lot of smack for Mariota being injury prone and he's a bust, and Corey Davis just isn't a top 5 receiver. I don't know. We might have to pump the brakes on some of those opinions. And we've had 3 weeks to really grow, but here we are now. There's been a lot of growth in week 2 and 3 against division rivals, but for the Super Bowl champs to come to Nashville, and for guys, and there's other positive, rookies, Harold Landry's getting out there and absolutely beyond anything I've wanted through 4 weeks now. His ability, I know Brian Balding on Twitter does his breakdowns. He was lining up against an all-pro tackle.
Yeah.
Had a strip sack at one point, which I don't think we jumped on that one. Had 2 other sacks, I believe it was, but it's something that his ability to disrupt, get in the backfield, allows guys like Jarrell Casey to be the guy that he can be. But,
another point on Harold was it was a rollout. It wasn't a rollout. It was just a deep pass, looked like. But man, did Carson Wentz have a wide open field? And Harold Landry's closing speed shut
Unreal.
him down for 1 yard. I know it was.
In his rush, he went inside on that rush.
Yeah, they
and then
closed
went
the gap
opposite.
on the gaps, and then
Unreal.
all of a
Can't
sudden
change that.
he spins back out of it and just closes the gap. And that 1 yard gain was such a huge play for us.
Right.
So
I think going back to the play call you're talking about, finding our receivers. Just last week we were talking about, man, how great would it be to see Macklin in a Titans jersey, or some of the other guys around the league. I think Kenny Britt's still out there. And Harry Douglas, people that probably still remember the playbook.
do not want those Jets back. Sorry.
But I'm just saying, we didn't think that Corey Davis had it.
Right.
Could be the number one guy. I mean, obviously he's got the intangibles, the size, the speed, the hands. But did he have that it factor to be the main receiver? And then we see this, the other two receivers come in that we've been looking for, Tajay Sharp and just come out. I think schematically we have to get a lot more of those motion.
Oh yeah.
Put them out, like you said, in space. Mm-hmm. Get them the ball in space. I don't know that our offensive line it's just been a bad run so far, but to let them get out with them, because obviously we're not getting the push we need up front for the run game right now. Put the ball in some of those athletes' hands and just kind of see what happens. Keep those short passes. Mariota is a lot like Jared Garantano in the fact that I really don't want him hurling down the field too much. I kind of want him the mid-range passes. I think that's his wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Right? And why take him out of that?
Something for me, I know offensive line, this was their first week to be back at 100% with Conklin coming back from the ACL. But it's something, too. I mean, overall for the offense, Dan Orlovsky, who I think we've talked about before in prior episodes, has been something that he was in LaFleur's offense in the past and has come out and said, most quarterbacks get in and begin to struggle, and at some point, in whatever time frame that is, it just clicks. And once it clicks, I think Jared Goff has shown that.
Yeah.
Last year with their resurrection for the Rams, but it's going forward for Mariota. It's something that I don't know if it's clicked yet, or if it's making more sense, because there was 4 or 5 I feel like dropped balls. He had 344 passing yards, and he could have been well over 400 had some of those guys. Darius Jennings, I know Corey Davis had a couple drops.
There's a go route that was just wild.
Darius Jennings.
In
overtime, which probably would have,
just
the roller coaster.
He wouldn't have gotten anywhere, but
still
without a yard after catch, he's still, that play is just.
But that's another one that
massive.
showed. It came out. He came out and showed that, hey, Mariota showed that I can still throw the deep ball. I mean, he came out. That was one of those.
A beautiful ball.
How's his hand doing? And then he came out.
Well, I think he's healthy now.
Yeah, and he can still sling
Just
it.
keep him that way. Every time he tucked the ball and run, I'd be like,
even if he wants to wear his Luke Skywalker glove, that's cool.
Let him have it, baby. Let him have it.
But it's something that a couple of comments coming in here, and folks, if you're watching, feel free to give your opinions too. I know we're talking as far as Vrabel's confidence and where the team is right now, but Robbie Sizemore's come in. He's looking at AFC champs. He says, AFC champs, here we come. I grew up in Houston. As a fan, I met several of the Titans when they moved to Nashville. I was at Fort Campbell at the time. I've been a dedicated fan through all the changes. I think finally the right coach and the right guys to fight for a championship. It's funny because I know the Titans social media crew actually threw some shade at Pro Football Focus for the last 3 weeks. Texans, Jags, and now the Eagles.
Yeah.
Every staff member for the Pro Football Focus picked the opposite team. Didn't pick the Titans. Not one of them. Which is, for Bleacher Report, I think after week 1 we were ranked number 27 in the league.
Yeah.
Absolute joke, And I'm not trying to be, I'm just a biased Titans fan, but it's something I know a lot of people believe in what we're looking at here. But it's something for me. I think obviously, and it might have been Robbie at the beginning of it. It was actually Justin Widener. Titans fans or Titans, the team, do not get any respect from the outside, no national media. And I'm hoping they continue the trend of kind of throwing some shade at people who aren't giving them that.
I really
respect.
expected to check my phone today and see everybody just all about the Titans.
Yeah.
Haven't seen it.
Nope.
Not a lot.
I mean, we beat, maybe not the best team in the NFC, but definitely the defending champs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people were calling Jacksonville the best team in the AFC prior to our game.
Yeah.
Shut them down.
Right.
I mean,
how many Super Bowl picks were the Texans a part of at the beginning of the year?
Right.
Yeah.
That's a very good Texans team.
Yeah.
And and we're in a division that's usually, or at least recently, been a kind of one of the weaker AFC divisions.
Oh yeah.
This year, I feel like it's a coin toss, man. I mean, I feel like we've got the team to do it
for sure.
But you got Andrew Luck coming back. I mean, you got the Texans that are good. You obviously Jacksonville, Saxonville.
A lot going on. It's not Peyton Manning's division anymore. He ruled for a decade and a half or whatever it was. Gavin Jones come in and says, "Do you guys think Derrick Henry is not living up to the hype?"
I don't believe that just yet. The reason being is, like you said, this is our first week with a fully healthy offensive line. We did have Blaine Gabbert starting basically the first 3 weeks.
You guys don't like Blaine Gabbert?
He's a good game manager. He's a good game manager.
I love me some Gabbert on the sideline.
Yes, he looks nice over there. He keeps us up to snuff. Thank you, Austin Davis, for taking his role this week.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's one of those that I think the run game will come along. We have a fully healthy offensive line. We've got our boy Marcus back. We're going to open some stuff up. Derrick's going to be just fine.
Yeah.
We can keep Quinn Spain from dumb penalties.
Yeah.
Because he's such a good. I mean, I feel like all of our linemen are good. Offensive linemen are some of the best. And so I just go back to the Vols thing. Don't let us beat us.
Right.
I mean,
And that's been the Vols or the Titans thing as well. And I wrote about it in the post game kind of blurb, was just saying, at some point you wait for the bottom to fall out and for us to lose the game. And I was sitting there, and my wife, we were watching when Mariota threw the game-winning touchdown. I have my 4 or 5 month old daughter now. I was kind of superstitiously standing with. We've been doing well. Let's just stay here. And
we're staying.
We all do weird things.
No, my wife said, "I can take it." No, we're doing well. Let's keep this train running. But we were sitting there, and I'm just thinking, at some point in time, we're going to see a pick, we're going to see a fumble, we're going to see a dumb play.
Yeah.
A Quentin Spain or Lawan throw a punch or something to happen that backs us up out of field goal, and we end up losing the game. But when he threw that touchdown, it was surreal. It was like that.
Just happened.
We just won. We just won the game, and it's something too. And Robbie's gotten another point on here. It's something we've been a highlight reel for everyone else, and I think we're going to have to win the Super Bowl to get the respect that we're due. But going back to Gavin's comment, for me, watching this game for Derrick Henry, as big of a guy that he is, he makes contact and his legs just stop. And it's concerning because I feel like even Dion Lewis, he's not having the best success out there either going inside. Now his passing game and third down is kind of the scat back role that he is his strength. But Derrick Henry, I don't know that, because it's strange because the offense and even the Shanahan and Gruden and kind of thing that this is from LaFleur, it's a zone running scheme, which he flourished in with Alabama.
Right.
He makes one cut and he's got 70 yards, and with the exception of the game, sorry to ramble on here, but the Miami Dolphins play that he went 62 yards, got called back. I mean, that's the one play that we've really seen as a flash in the pan.
I think we've got to get him going downhill more. I saw him. He makes me so nervous sometimes because he is that big and that strong that he will shake off some people, but then he's straight up in a crowd of defenders, and you're just thinking, please don't fumble the ball.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I want him to go down, necessarily not, at first contact, but at some points I'm like, just go down, please, because I feel like someone's going to come in from behind and strip it out. Mm-hmm. And I don't think he's the hype was too much, I guess, is where I'm staying with Derrick Henry.
So you think this is who he is?
No. I think he's going to get better. I just think people expected too much for sure last year.
Yeah.
And I, for one, expected more this year.
Oh, for sure. Now that DeMarco's gone.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I really thought this would be something he could hang his hat on. We could feed him the ball 20 times a game.
Yeah.
Manage the clock. That hasn't happened. Our clock management has come more so from short slants and outs and stops and things like that in the passing game. Yeah. Which I didn't expect at all.
Yeah, for sure. One thing that we did write down, because we wrote down the topic as far as the running game being an issue, but Malcolm Butler, he's got a lot of money that he made and he signed a contract for, but the guy, I feel like once a week he is getting burnt.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just something that he doesn't have the speed. Maybe he's just that slot guy to kind of shut down the inside short yard runs, but he's been beat from week to week. Is it a concern for you guys and for the viewers as well? Is it a concern where Malcolm Butler is and what he's shown thus far through 4 weeks?
A little bit. The only thing, the one he did get beat by Jordan Matthews on was after Ertz had his 400th catch, and they ran a perfect little play. It was a hitch route looking for Ertz, but then they leak out Matthews. So whenever Butler came out of that, he did one little second draw, checking down to Zach Ertz, let Matthews get wide open.
Yep.
So it's little things like that a guy you signed that much money for, you're hoping that he figures stuff out that most rookies would fall for, but that's one of those.
And the thing too, I know Logan Ryan's going into a contract year, which they might. Who knows if they're going to bring him back, especially after dropping the money they did on Malcolm. But I doubt they would obviously cut him this quickly. And to me, it's almost the front end of the defense for the inside seven. They're having great success. Maybe the secondary has to work some kinks up for the defense, or if it's a scheme thing. I'm not sure what to really chalk it up as. But what do you think, Kurt? As far as
I'm not ready to throw the baby out with the bathwater, so to speak. When it comes to him, I think that they've got some meshing to do. The secondary, also the linebackers, just I feel like every week we're looking better though, and it kind of Malcolm Butler's done. He's gotten burned in the past. Like he's always been a great player, but maybe Belichick saw something that we haven't, and maybe he does give up a big play once a game. Maybe he doesn't get burned every time, but you make the wrong read once, and you're burned. Just like Jordan Matthews is not necessarily the best receiver in the league, but he made us look real bad real quick yesterday. So
maybe a little conspiracy is that the reason why Belichick let him sit in the Super Bowl.
That's what I was saying. He sat him in the Super Bowl. Maybe he was afraid about that play coming out.
Surely John Robinson and co have thought that through.
Enough time, seen him enough to know whether or not they believe that that's the case. Yeah, I think we're fine in the second.
Yeah.
I honestly do. Defense in general, I think we've got a pretty good core, and we will continue to keep us in the game. Yeah,
they haven't led us astray thus far. Folks, we're actually starting to get towards the end of the show here. It's something that this upcoming week we're actually traveling to Buffalo. Hopefully nobody on the team gets bit by the bug that Vontae Davis got bit by and quits at halftime or anything Hoping not. But looking forward to them this upcoming week. We did have a closing topic, which we might spend a few minutes here on. So for the Vols fans that watched the Georgia the Vols game, obviously there was Herschel Walker was there, Peyton Manning was there, but the old Ric Flair was in attendance.
The Nature Boy.
The Nature Boy was there, so that piques the interest for us. Growing up, or even now if you're a wrestling fan, who is your favorite pro wrestler, guys?
Chase?
For me, it's tough to pick number one. Growing up, I guess I'll have to say Sting. He was always that guy. I was a WCW fan. A little bit on the, the reserve side for that. WWF was hardcore back then. So
it was pretty intense looking back then.
So as a young boy, Mom was not a big fan of WWF, so I was a WCW guy.
Well, edgier.
So, Sting. So Sting was my guy,
I gotta go with a homer pick, being a West Tennessean, the King, Mr. Jerry Lawler.
Yeah.
Obviously, I feel like by the time I came around, I was more of an announcer. But just as someone I've seen in face-to-face person as a young man, I latched on to him as a personality. I think that you said HBK, Shawn Michaels. That was my, one of my favorites for sure too. It's hard to beat Sweet Chin Music.
Oh yeah. Well, even DX and Triple H and that whole run that they had, X-Pac in China. But growing up, the Heartbreak Kid was one of my favorites because, the arrogance, the cockiness. But like you said, it was something. Yeah, and Robbie Sizemore comes in and says Stone Cold Steve Austin. I'll tell you what, there was a run that the WWE had, or the WWF back then, with The Rock and The Undertaker and Stone Cold. There was just so many things going on. It's been great, but I'm having a little bit of flashback of, I know, Bret Hart and the Hart Foundation that he had, Owen, his brother, and then a couple of the British Bulldog. This was way back when, but yeah, for me, I mean, Val Venus was way back when.
Ooh, Val Venus?
Wow. Pulling out the wild card.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
I mean, even The Rock. I mean, The Rock's been fantastic post wrestling, but yeah, if you haven't given your comment quite yet, go ahead and put that up. We'll have to probably check it back later. But guys, it's been fun. Thanks so much. This is the new ChattTenn crew, so thanks so much for these guys coming in. Keep an eye on our website. We're going to be continually putting up blogs and help us share that. Which again, the first overly emotional reaction for the UT Georgia game from Chase already gotten about 50 shares on our website, and it's been all over social media today, which is super exciting. But it is something as we close this episode out. Any last thoughts, guys? Looking forward to, we got Bills and then Auburn coming up in a couple weeks.
Be looking out for the
Braves,
the Achilles heel, I believe, in the Braves Cinderella story. I will be putting that out at some point this week as well, so give that a look. Vols have a 0% chance of losing this week.
That's very true.
That's math.
The most confidence I've had in the Vols in a long time.
I know it. I just want to hear the typical Jeremy Pruitt things, like we had a good week of practice. Get me hyped up for Auburn. That's what I want.
Yeah.
Tell me that they were in the film room at 7 a.m. on Sunday. That's what I want to hear. I need those falsifications.
Make me believe, baby.
Yeah.
But guys, it's been a lot of fun. We'll see you guys next time. Have a great rest of your week.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.